Jackalope.
No more.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I used to say Brian Shorley was late, but we have a man 2 weeks late, and he's going to be sworn in tonight. So. Sworn in? Sworn out? He likes that.
Far away. Do this right.
You're good. You'll raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Bruce Cox,
I, Bruce Cox,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support the Constitution,
that I will support the Constitution,
the laws of the United States,
the laws of the United States,
the state of
the
Missouri,
state of Missouri,
and ordinances of the city of Hermiton,
and ordinances of the city of Herman.
and I will faithfully demean myself
I will faithfully demean myself
and perform all the duties of the office
and perform all the duties of the office
for which I have been elected,
for which I have been elected,
and I possess all qualifications
and I possess all qualifications
prescribed for said office,
prescribed for said office,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, now, the next thing on the agenda is to elect the president of the Board of Aldermen, so I will accept nominations.
Well, unless he doesn't want it anymore, I just assume keep the one we have. I moved Bruce State.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Does anybody move the nominations are closed?
So moved.
Okay. Since he's the only nominee, we don't really need to vote on it, but if it makes everything official, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, President Cox. The mayor's report. I have a little bit tonight. The fiber optic enrollment is underway. As I promised, I was the first one to enroll, had to stand in line. They were very busy last Monday. In fact, they said it was one of the busiest Mondays they've had, or day they've had since they've been enrolling, which is very good. I'm happy to see that. If you go to Calabyte.com, that's CALLABYTE.com, you can get all the information you need. You can express interest in giving them your address, and they'll put you on the list as being interested. And it gets your neighborhood. You get counted towards the neighborhood, and whoever gets the most, they'll probably do first. So that you can do that all at Calabyte.com. They will be on site at City Hall, the community room, every Tuesday in May from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., as well as Wednesday, June 5th and 25th from 3 to 7. You can stop by, you can ask any questions you want, and I think it's a good idea, and that's what they're there for. There's a special offer for free installation. You save $100 if you sign up early. The street meeting last Monday, and the options discussed I'm going to cover under old business. The AT&T cell tower is still awaiting FCC license. They didn't need to go to a full-blown phase 2 environmental testing, but their consultant recommended some sort of additional testing for which AT&T is still waiting on the results. When that task is finished, they can order soil samples, which is geoactivity, which triggers the tower and foundation drawings. When those are finished, they will apply for a building permit from us, and we will get it to them as fast as we can. And so they're on it, they're just in the process. I'm going to let Mark talk about the demolition grant when it gets to be his turn. And we're starting on the 2019-2020 budget. You have a thick package, so everybody, there it is. That's the beginning of it. And we'll be moving on that. We have to have it done by the end of June, but I believe we have to have it to the board by the 1st of May. So there'll be some serious work being done on that. City business, everything seems to be operating as well as they can. Everyone seems to be short of personnel, and that seems to be a big problem. I know it is for them, and this is not just people in the tourist areas, but it's also industrial park businesses and so forth. So if anybody's looking for a job, there are jobs. If you can't find one, come to City Hall. You can get in my car and I'll take you around and show you where they are. So anyway, that's what I have, Mark.
Okay, we were informed that we will not receive funding for our community development block grant for demolition. Kelly St. Blair came to my office this morning and we have started the process to reapply for the next round. Don't know how we're going to do, but we're going to try again. Also, we have chosen a consultant for the airport grant, should we get it. The consultant is Burns & McDonnell out of St. Louis, and they have a strong tie to MoDOT Aviation and lots of experience dealing with projects like ours. And I hope to have notification on the grant status within the next 60 days.
Tell them what it's about.
The MoDOT Aviation grant is a 90-10 with the MoDOT Aviation paying 90% of the grant to remove and replace the asphalt apron that is all around the airport, the hangars and up to the runway. It's in terrible condition from years of flooding and neglect.
And it's keeping them from using it.
Yeah, and
It's keeping them from having fly-ins, which are tourist attractions. Basically, they fly their airplanes in, bring their friends, and find a place to stay in Herman and have a few meals and fuel up the next day and head out. Everybody that owns a plane, our boat, is always looking for a place to take it. So that's
the problem is the props when they come in and head to the hangars or fuel or whatever, they pick up rocks, the loose aggregate from the asphalt and throw it around and damage the props and people and buildings and everything else. So hopefully we'll get that notification soon. The flood grant work is progressing. We sent some more GPS information to MRPC for the detour route map and assigned them in order to designate the route. And as the mayor mentioned, we'll be going to the first draft of the budget.
okay. Anything, questions on any of that? Otherwise, we'll go directly to ordinance. Dave?
First, which is on for second reading, is bill number 2019-14, an ordinance to amend Herman Municipal Code section 735.050 regarding the frequency of the Utility Advisory Board meetings.
I move it second read.
I second.
The motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Next is bill number 2019-15. It would be an ordinance to approve a creative services agreement by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and Branding Bear LLC.
Is this the first reading of this?
This is first reading.
I make a motion to accept this ordinance.
Is there any questions? I've had any. Any questions? Okay. We have a motion made.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I think it would be helpful if we could read that twice tonight.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Bill number 2019-15, an ordinance to approve a creative services agreement by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and Branding Bear LLC.
Your motion?
I'll move it second read.
Anybody with a second? Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion's carried. That's one.
All right. Next is bill number 2019-16, an ordinance to approve a wastewater collection system rehabilitation agreement by and between the City of Herman, Missouri and In Situ Form Technologies USA LLC.
I think this is the manhole.
This is the pipe lining for wastewater and manholes. It's the ongoing wastewater system improvement bond issue.
This is phase 2?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have any other discussion? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried.
Next is bill number 2019-17, an ordinance for the voluntary annexation of certain adjacent territory into the city of Carmen, Missouri. This is the annexation ordinance for the property we had the public hearing for at the last meeting.
Okay, that's well drilling company, right? Any further discussion on that? Do I have a motion?
I move the first reading.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Full business. We're going to table the transportation bill. We're in the process of doing a couple of other things anyway, and that we'll have to wait till the next meeting. The Herman Street meeting is something I wanted to talk about a little bit. We had a good meeting. It didn't have a lot of people here, but we had a good meeting. And we came up basically, does everybody have a copy of it? We came up with really 4 ideas, not us, but the people that came. And one of the ideas is a sales tax equaling 7/8 of a cent. Another one is the sales tax for 7/8 cents and adding a certificate of participation. Now, this second version really ends up looking identical to Proposition Streets with the borrow $1 million, pay it off in 4 years, borrow it again, pay it off, and so forth. The third idea is a real estate, I'm wrong. The sales tax, it would use sales tax for funding, not property tax, but it would look the same as Proposition Streets, where we borrow money, we pay that amount off in 4 years, and we borrow it again, pay it off. Keeps our borrowings very low, our interest payments very low, and so forth.
Which one are you on right now?
That was B.
B, okay.
C, and I'll come back to them all, because I know this is fast, is a real estate tax levy of 65 cents per $100 of assessed valuation. This is exactly what we had in terms of the amount. The difference in C and what we did in Proposition Streets is we would be building the streets with the money coming in from the levy. There would be no bond issue or any other mechanism used to borrow against that stream. We would be getting about $270,000 a year, and that's what we'd have to build streets. And then D is the 65-cent tax levy, and using a conditional use or conditioned certificate of participation, which really makes it act like a bond. Because if we get $270,000 each year, we could borrow $1 million and pay it off with the $270 each year, and then we'd have zero, and we go to the next one. So we have 4 different ways to do it. 2 are with sales tax, and 2 are with levy, property levy. Now, some of the advantages are there's no bonds that are issued at all on any of them. So the critical number necessary is a simple majority of 50% and 1 vote. So all 4 of these are 50%, basically. The sales tax, 7/8%, would generate $450,000, let's say. And that's a nice amount. We probably could do that in less than 20 years, have the streets done, so we just put in 18. We can still cancel them at any time. In this particular version A, there's no interest because we're not borrowing anything. We're operating on the income from the sales tax. The idea that the people liked that came, and others that I've talked to, quite a few people, mainly business people, and chamber people, Mr. Hammer, several people that pay sales tax. And what they liked about it was everybody pays a little bit. And that would be including people that just come to shop here or drive through and buy gas, and tourists. So everybody using our streets would pay a little bit. And that's what the people liked. For instance, to show you how much this would cost, a 7/8 cent sales tax on a $100 purchase would be $100.88. It would raise it 88 cents. And like I said, it needs a simple majority. Now on B, that's the same sales tax of 7/8 1 cent. It's basically the same, but we substitute a certificate of participation, which means we could borrow on the front end 2 million or 2.1 or 2 million and pay it off out of the 450 every year. And we could do that. Probably wouldn't need to do that for very long. Probably maybe one dip or two. But that would cost a fee for selling those certificates of participation, the private placements that are sold primarily to banks and other big investors. They're safe and they have the pledge of the city, but they're not a bond where there's an obligation, a legal obligation, and so forth. It's still legally obligated, but it's not as strong. So that is what we would do. So that one, B, would then look like, again, would look like Proposition Streets. We'd borrow an amount, pay it off over 4 years, borrow another amount. And at any time, we can stop. This way we can speed up the building of the streets. And that was an issue to some people that I've talked to. They said, we'd like to see you do them faster, get them done faster. And this would be one way to do that. We could use it for 4 years, and we could use it for 8 years, 12 years. We can stop anytime we want. Item C is real estate levy tax as we did before, but without a bond. This way we bring in about 270, and that would be every year. And we would use the 270 to add to what we have to get up to an amount where we could do a street or 8 or 10 or 12 blocks, whichever streets it is. And we'd get them all done. It would just be a little slower. Then, item D, Item D, we would do the same 65-cent levy, but we would add the certificates of participation. So it would again look like a bond. It's not a bond. But this one would then look exactly like Proposition Streets. The same exact numbers and so forth. So they all sunset in 20 years unless we do it differently. We can cancel them at any time. The Board of Aldermen has the authority to decide if they want to do a certificate of participation. It doesn't have to be in the bond issue. We just have to have a bond issue that passes. That's the funding mechanism, whether it's a levy or sales tax. And this group up here can decide whether or not they want to do a certificate of participation. So basically, those are kind of the details of the 4 items that we had. Joey couldn't come tonight. He can come next Monday if we want. And I'm thinking about inviting all the business people to come in and talk about this. I've been around to talk to quite a few. And basically, I think it's got more support than I thought it would have had when we were looking at the property tax. So that's the 4 ideas that we have. They're all on the table. We're not voting on anything tonight. We're just gathering information.
Have Todd make any recommendations on how much he can get done with that $454,000?
I don't think he's officially looked at it.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
instead of going where you have an expense on this other one, I was just curious.
No, it's a good question. With item A, we don't have any interest. And really with item C, we have no interest. It's just the money that comes in from whatever the form of tax that is.
Well, just my personal, from talking to people and from that meeting, I think sales tax is the way that everybody is leaning to, so I mean, but
Yeah.
One comment I got on the sales tax, and it bears some good fruit there. We only have one, but a car dealership. They go out and buy a $50,000 vehicle from them, that additional sales tax could, as one person brought up, could cause them to leave the city.
Well, somebody needs to go talk to him, and I will be down there tomorrow. We don't want that to happen. And we are limited, well, there might be. I've checked into it for somebody else. And I don't know what it's hard on this to exclude any business from sales tax. Now, we can exclude, the law says, we can exclude some people of certain categories, but it gets really technical. So rather than guess, I'm not gonna guess. Let me go find out. I'll call Joey and I'll go down and talk to them.
I don't know if we could put in there, sales tax up to a certain dollar amount. Anything over, say, $10,000, then this new sales tax wouldn't apply.
I don't know. I will tell you this though, Jim. The sales tax law is so complicated that the underwriter people, I forgot their name now, the ones we always use. Yeah, well, Kleine, but
Oh,
the ones they go to,
yeah.
they don't even, they say, we're not experts, so we don't want to make an opinion on sales tax because it's so complicated. So I think we better look into it. I'll check with the Ford dealer, because that's the only one we have, and see what their thoughts are there. And we have some other people to talk to too. Because basically what we're gonna have to have is everybody, as many as possible, pulling together on this and saying, we need new streets, and this is a good way to get them. And I would like to have a totem pole, but I don't know if you can say that. That might be politically correct. But anyway, I want to have a something or other, and but I want it thrown into with my vote, and so we end up with a mess. So let me find out what we really can do, what the real answers are, and I'll get back.
Lumberyard may fall underneath there too, somebody.
I knew about him. I'm going down there too. I've talked to Mr. Hammer, the Chamber of Commerce, Melissa Lindsay, Mary Brunel, and a number, Kevin Sanderlin, and a number of other people. But I haven't talked to Ford, and I haven't talked to Danny, and I will do that tomorrow, as quick as I can, let you know. So that's kind of where we stand. We have until the 28th of May to make a decision. Rest assured, the verbiage will be exactly what we want it to be, and it'll include only what we want included. So I don't know if I can answer some questions on some of this stuff, but exclusions, those are kind of tough. I've been working on it, so. Okay, that's what we have. So anybody needs another copy, they're welcome to. So that's the street meeting. We'll try to get a group together for next week if we can. There's no need to have a meeting for 3 people, but, and I would just say that between now and the 28th, or whenever we would decide to do this, the alderman and the mayor and the administrator and the street foreman can talk and tell people like it is. We're not under any obligation to work, to be with kid clubs and not say anything, because there's no motion, there's no vote scheduled, nothing's been done. And I will tell people that if they are interested in their streets being fixed, that there's one of these is a good way to do it. We just have to pick the best one. And if they don't do it now, because 900 people don't vote, whatever the reason is, it could be a while. I'll just say that. It could be a while, because I'm not sure the aldermen want to bring this up every election, and I don't think they should. So, also next April, I believe, we will probably have some other tax measures on the ballot. So that's what I hear. So, at any rate, that's what we can say about it. Anybody else have any?
On this subject,
Yeah,
well, I had some other old business.
anybody else on this subject? Okay, Dave.
Okay, I got 2 items. One, since the destruction grant has fallen through, this was brought up at the last meeting, I want to reiterate it now. It is time to start with these property owners to get this stuff torn down. People in town have been very patient. Well, that's not actually true. They're getting damned impatient. They want something done. A couple of these buildings are actually a hazard to the community, and it needs to stop. We have tried very hard to help. We have been unable to do so, so now it's time.
That was actually in my notes, but Mark took it over.
Okay.
And I think we need to do whatever it takes to move this to a,
Get
there's
the
two of
letters.
these, all of them. Every one of them are dangerous,
Yep.
but two are extremely
The
dangerous.
one below the school is, in my opinion, a priority. I mean, we're very fortunate that something hasn't happened there with
Well,
some
I'll-
youngsters.
I'll tell you what, if we can't, that needs to be encircled with something now. Even if it's gonna take them 3 months to knock it down, something needs to be done on
I
that.
sent him a letter with that very statement, that he needs to get that cordoned off, fenced off, no trespassing signs until, and if he wants to go ahead and reapply with us for the demolition grant, that's fine. If not, then it's gonna have to come down. And I
Well,
sent
it
him a
needs to
letter.
come down.
Yeah.
We can't, how long have we waited on demolition grant? This started.
Third
what-
year, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, this started when I was starting became an alderman.
So
you know.
what's the, how do we get the thing knocked down and graded over?
If we take it off the demolition grant list, it will probably not, we won't get the grant for the other properties.
Well, don't take it off,
Okay?
leave it on there. And we'll keep knocking it down.
Knock it down.
Well, we're gonna knock it down anyway. You know, and then we'll say too late, it fell down yesterday. So, and it could fall down any day.
We could.
Well, I can't believe the last wet heavy snow didn't bring it down, but it didn't. So we need to do something or this poor kid ends up
What-
laying underneath the power roll.
Let me ask Dave. Dave, what does it take for us to go in and bulldoze this thing?
We need to have a hearing before this group, a dangerous building hearing where we declare it a dangerous building and order that it be taken down.
I thought we did that, but well, let's do it next time. Let's make sure that the next time we have I don't know if we can schedule a hearing, but as quickly as we can schedule one for this purpose.
I'm not picking on any one property. We have several here in town and they all need to get the same letter.
Well, we got one that's half fallen down, another different,
Yep.
it burned down, and now it's looks bad. And then the yellow building, which is old Bevco, I think.
You know, the neighbors have been
And-
telling me the
and-
kids have
and-
been getting in
Yeah,
there.
they're in there, yeah.
Okay.
And that's not good, so.
Segue on what David had, Mayor and I talked about, there again goes to the nuisance ordinance. I typed them up here, you can take one, pass one around, where I've identified some of the areas, not all of them. I would challenge the other aldermen to look and see within their areas. It's not buildings per se, but it is wooded areas where debris is. We recently had calls about snakes coming into people's yards and houses, and as mayor and I talked, if we go after one, why not go after all of them at
Well-
one time?
We have to do them, everybody the same. And I got a call the other day that a lady said there was a snake in her bedroom.
There was.
And I don't think it was python sized, but it doesn't matter.
If you're
Nobody
scared of
wants us-
snakes, it doesn't matter how
Well,
big
it doesn't matter, even if you aren't scared of them. I don't want one crawling around in the bedroom. So that kind of got everybody's attention. So,
That covers a lot of them. One that David and I actually went to was on 9th Street Alley, and there's one on 9th Street, and their trailer park up there, I mean, it's kind of, that's not all by any means, but that's some of the prominent ones.
well, I appreciate you doing this.
And that nuisance law says that we can, I got the ordinance number there on the top, but it says we notify the owner or the renter of the property if not the same and send them a letter, and 10 days after the receipt of the letter, they need to start the proceedings to clean up. If not, then.
Well, if you don't do them all, sure as you're gonna say, well, what about them? So you gotta do them all.
Well, let's do them all, and I
That's
think this is a
listed there
little
on
different.
9th Street Alley is a,
Okay, Dave knows what to do on this, and Trish, and we'll get rolling on this. I appreciate you doing this.
Well, by the next meeting, I wanna know what's happening.
Yeah.
Because people keep asking me and I can't keep saying, I don't know. So,
I did keep a copy of that.
Yeah.
I got the original, but I think it specifies in that trailer park, there's 4 or 5 mobile homes that's actually labeled uninhabitable. And I've moved back here, it'll be 3 years, and some have been cleaned up, but these are still sitting there.
And we really were wanting to talk to the owner of that property and his partner and see if we can speed up the movement of the ones he wants to move to his other trailer park. So we can come in and get all of it. The ones some of them he told me can't be moved. They're too far gone and they'll fall apart. Well, I don't know.
You can dismantle them in place, that's what they've been doing.
Yeah, get the Tri-County in there with that big claw and throw them in a dumpster.
So there's more debris building out there, down trees, and there's utility buildings that's been abandoned, and it's just a breeding ground. There's cats running everywhere. The abandoned mobile homes are open. If the cats are in there, you know, the mice and rats and snakes are in there too.
Well, let's get started on it. And Dave and Jim, you go right ahead and bring it up every time.
Okay.
Although I know you will anyway. But that's good. Keep us on our toes. Thank you.
Actually, I was, oh, go ahead, Jim, I'm sorry.
I had one more topic, I think you may be here, St. George parking. Was that you last time? No? Okay. But the lady from St. George came in last time, talked about having by their crosswalk, it was bigger no parking zone because the cars are bumped up against the crosswalk.
Have you looked at that? Mm-hmm. What can we do over there?
And the city ordinance number is 355.050. Traffic engineer.
There he
And
said.
what we offer for the public school, it's in the ordinance too, is that there's no parking between school hours, and it stipulates that like 175 feet from Washington Street up 7th, there's no parking within 32 feet of the crosswalk. So, and that's what I said last time, we have that for the public school, why not do it for the St. George?
Okay.
We have limited parking at the elementary on 7th, between the hours of like 7 and 8:30, and then again in the afternoon, and that's when they drop them off, pick them up. That could be something we could easily do up there if they're okay with that.
Maybe we should get together with them and go over what's possible. And I don't know that, if an alderman wants to go, but can you and I
Sure.
just set up a time?
Sure.
And we'll go and find out what makes them happy.
It's technically on that side of Mozart Street is not our ward.
No.
That's them too.
Well, I bet we can get one of these two
But
together.
it's brought up at the meeting and
Yeah.
all this, whatever we decide fits all shoes.
Yeah.
Well, what we'll do on the St. George is, we'll just get a time when we can go meet with them. And we'll let our alderman of record know, and you can meet us if you want.
The Schedule 5, Ordinance 838, 32 feet either side of the crosswalk on West 7th Street. No parking, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. all day, schools in session. So we should be able to do that on 4th Street.
I think so. I don't know why we wouldn't want to.
And school's gonna be out, I'd like to make sure we get things moving before they get out so they know that we're,
Well, it's
Look-
good to do it now, because then they'll know about it for next year too.
Yeah.
If we do it over the summer, it's all new, and they don't know. Okay, any other new business?
I actually have, I said 2 items, actually, it was 3. The second one is, how are we doing on the job description for the enforcement officer?
That's my job, and I went to sleep at the switch half of last week. I promise we'll have that done by the next, I will have something for you to look at.
As long as you're moving forward on it, that's all I care about.
Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Susan's gonna need that for what she's doing.
She does need it now, and we're gonna get it, and I'll promise Susan and all the rest of you will have it by, everybody out there in TV land will have this by the next meeting. Now, it won't be ready to implement, but it'll be something for you to look at.
I think the Missouri Municipal League, on one of their emails, they're putting together a employee description for an enforcement officer.
Well, I'll find out what that is, because I remember that, I'm on one of their committees, and I'll get that, we'll start with that. Thanks, Dave.
Well, now for item 3, this one's gonna take a minute. Did notice here recently, the gentleman sitting next to me is not the same one that's been sitting there before, but the people of Ward 2 are pretty consistent. They keep electing aldermen from Washington Street. And the Washington Street aldermen notice traffic in our neighborhoods. It's been a continuous problem with people speeding through our neighborhoods. We live in a residential neighborhood. We have a school zone. It needs to stop. At the last meeting, we were discussing it, and some fool pointed out the fact that even some of the school buses were speeding through there, and I caught a lot of flack about that I was somehow implying that our school buses were not being safe. I did not mean that way. I apologize for it. Our school buses have an exemplary safety record. I trust my grandchildren on those buses. Having said that, nothing else I said was wrong. People need to slow down. Jefferson Street, Washington Street, 6th Street is getting to be a racetrack over there. The laws in our town are for everybody. I had a talk with our city administrator over here, and he instructed all department heads to make sure every city employee understands that our traffic laws are meant to be obeyed, especially when they are on city time. That goes for every city employee. And I would like to point out the people sitting at this table, we need to lead by example. I don't need someone calling to me and saying that, well, we followed the mayor around and he ran a stoplight. That did happen, by the way.
Yeah, but when?
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
But I'm not picking on anybody.
3 years.
I have rolled through a stop sign or two myself in my day.
Our city alderman looking at his phone as he drives.
Yeah, okay. I'm probably as guilty as everybody else. But we live in a residential neighborhood. Within a block of my house are 3 ball fields, 2 playgrounds. You go in part of a city park. You want to go a little bit further, we have our largest city ballpark. We have a swimming pool. We have all of our biggest city park down there where the kids play and everything like that. The other night I was sitting at my grandson's scrimmage game, and a car went flying around the city park levee and went squealing down through our little city park. I did have my camera. If I could have got a clear view and a picture, that person would have gotten a ticket. Enough is enough, people.
Well,
Start slowing down, stop at the stop signs, do what you're supposed to do.
let me add something to that. First of all kidding aside, all of us need to obey the speeding and every other law we have. But I do also hear on weekend evenings, Fridays and Saturday nights, and for some reason Sunday afternoons, there's 2 or 3 hot rod, young guys I guess, that have hot rod trucks and cars, and they're going around downtown. They're speeding all over, and you can hear them. So
Get their description, get their license number. If you don't want to call the police, call me, I'll call the police
I
and give
think
them the
one somebody
description
has
and
one
license
of
number.
them. So yeah, but I'd just say, if you get a picture of them, their license number, anybody, call the police. And tell them that something's going, that this truck looks like this, it's driven by so-and-so, and here's his license number. And he's been by 3 times, and can you stop him in the morning? Give him something to work with.
To echo on Dave's, yes, I live on Washington Street, at corner of 12th and Washington. We sit on our front porch, and I do have several years of law enforcement's use of a radar gun and classified as an expert witness at one time. I do estimated loaded school buses in the excess of 45 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. Today we was out there, had several cars over 50. That street is used by tourists from Stone Hill. The track team runs from the high school to the grade school. People are pushing their strollers to go down to the campground. It's an issue. Now the chief has been up there. I seen him personally up there, sitting and watching. He had a car sitting up by the rotunda, watching young lads spin circles in the donut in the parking lot. So he's working on it too.
And he also gave him several tickets this past week.
Well, people shouldn't be driving right because they're afraid they're going to get a ticket. Drive right because it's the right thing to do. It's a safe thing to do. I don't care if you're running behind. I don't care if you overslept. I don't care if you're going to be late for work. I don't care if you have an appointment. We live in a residential neighborhood. Be safe. In the last 4 years, I've heard this a lot. You guys have more important things to do. Well, you know what? At any given time, we might be working on a dozen different things. And they don't all have the same level of importance. Something that's important to one person might not be important to somebody else. But if you want me to put them in order of importance, I'll tell you what. The safety of my neighborhood is always going to be number 1 on that list. Nothing else is more important to me. I don't care what we're doing. Safety
I think it, Dave, it's also safety of everybody in Herman too.
Oh, I agree. I'm not excluding Ward 1 or anywhere else.
Visitors, the track team running, people stepping off the curb downtown. And when you're breaking the law and you're speeding around down there, you make it more likely that we're gonna have a serious injury and nobody wants that.
But safety will always be my number one priority. I don't care if anybody else agrees with that, but it is mine.
One thing I did bring up, y'all just got a hand out there to our traffic engineer, and David had a comment on it, to help slow down the speeding is the installation of a new stop sign for north and southbound traffic on Washington at the intersection of Stark Boulevard and West 11th at the city park.
And on 6th Street at Gailey.
Is that on here?
I don't know if it's on there or not, but
No,
that's,
I see new stop signs.
that's right below the Herman Manor there.
yeah, where
Okay.
Herman Manor and the trailer park
Yeah.
actually come together.
Right.
But David had brought up too that he thought that, and I don't know, Dave, our attorney may be able to enlighten me, but Mr. Farber thought that we could temporarily put a sign up for 30 days.
Actually 90, I believe.
Is it 90? I know you guys have the ability to do that, and then after a certain point, we have to vote on it.
And then,
Is-
what do you plan to,
Did we decide anything about the steps coming down St. George steps? And we were talking about crosswalks and some other.
Mark was gonna see what kind of signage we could put there.
We'll do that when we do the other one.
if we go with the stop sign, I would like if we got it, because I know everybody's gonna run it. Chief will run out of tickets if he sits out there.
No, we won't. I've seen the box inside.
But if we could put a flashing light of some sort, maybe solar powered, to be something new.
Those lights, I priced one for another dangerous place is 2nd Street, East 2nd Street, where it crosses Market Street. And when you're trying to turn out by the chamber building there, the old firehouse, you can't see around and they open the door and that makes it worse. You have to edge out and these people are coming down there pretty fast. That's another place where some type of caution sign, flashing or otherwise, would be helpful.
When you get solar powered or something, maybe.
Those are very expensive.
Well, they're new sign to bring a help draw
We'll get a
attention.
price on that, but I think they're way up there. When I talked to MoDOT, because that's their street, I thought we could get a free one, and he said no.
But it said could hand out his things I had talked to Mark about, gave him a copy, and I promised David that I would get him a copy, and I did include city ordinances.
Okay.
A lot of
Good.
them are still there from 40 years ago when I wrote the tickets myself. So it's,
So you're thinking that one more stop sign's gonna solve your problem?
one more stop sign may help towards a solution.
Okay, we can look into that.
Anyhow, that's food for thought, think about it, this is what I talked to Mark and David about, and I just typed them up, because that's what I did for 24 years.
Okay. Is there any other new business?
That's your,
That was old business.
Oh, okay. I thought that was over.
I got
Okay.
new business.
New business.
Contemplating on, and I dealt with this for 24 years in my previous career as a management with the Forbes 400 company, wholesale distributors. I had to purchase those in the cities that we delivered our frozen pizzas to. Some were $35, $40, $50, and some as high as $700 a year. Do we have a license that we have the Coca-Cola, the Pepsi, the Frito-Lays, the bread vendors, the Journal Pizza, which was my old nemesis? Do they do conduct business inside the city limits? They sell their products. They don't charge tax because it's offered for resale.
Jim, do you have breakfast every morning with Calvin?
I did the other
You
one.
might ask him.
I asked Calvin, and Calvin says, those are little things. But I asked Carol, his wife, and she liked the idea.
All right, well,
She said, check around the other cities, see what the cities are doing. And my comment is, I've read up some of the state statutes and the city ordinances, and that one city ordinance actually says in there is for manufacturers, and that's selling their goods, that they should have a license.
Well, I think, Trish, we only have one business license, do we? How many different ones do we have?
It's $32.50 a year.
$32.50, so
Yes.
we can check and see what other people are doing, because I'm sure that,
They'll reach out to tire dealers that bring in tires to the service stations and the interstate batteries of the world. We're allowing them to conduct business free,
okay, well,
contract free.
we'll look into that. Just remember, we may have a sales tax on the ballot. And,
But this business license shouldn't affect the sales tax, or
no, it won't, but it might affect somebody that's voted for it. That's what I'm saying.
now
So let's
Schwann's
think about
is
it.
retail, they collect sales tax.
But you're gonna probably have to hire another person to police it, to try and stay on top of it.
Yeah, well, actually, these are
That would be a very
fairly
big
easy, because the people that had distribute Coca-Cola, for instance, and then if they're used to paying this in other places, they don't put up too much of a fight.
You're talking Budweiser and Miller, a $50 license for the millions of dollars they sell within our
But
city.
they already have a business license, probably, don't they? Or do they?
Who are you talking about?
Well, Coca-Cola that comes in here and distributes, do they have to have a business license?
Yes, they do.
Because they do business, yeah.
They have one.
Okay, well, we'll look into it, that's a good idea, so we'll see where that goes. Any other new business? Okay, do we have any citizen comments, Trish?
No.
No citizen comments? Now let's get to the motions. The first item A is minutes, last meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Invoices for payment.
Make a motion to pay the bill.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills are paid. Let me say one thing. Somebody told me a couple of weeks ago, they said, y'all are not even reading this stuff. You're just passing it. There's no discussion, nothing's going on. You're just saying something and somebody says yes and somebody says yes and it's approved and that's the end of it. These books, everybody up here has a book and it has all the homework in it. They get them Thursday or Friday and they read these things. All that information is back in here. And trust me, it's all in here. So this is not the first time they've seen this. This is actually thought through and studied and everything, so don't worry about that. They know they've studied everything. So we've got that one approved. Conditional use permit renewal, Beth Osler, the Loose Caboose, 113 West 5th Street, outdoor liquor consumption.
Move to approve.
Was there not a disturbance down there over the weekend, Chief? Loose caboose? Okay, I thought I overheard something.
Beth, you know,
I have one question for you. With the new thing that's going on, are you gonna do outside seating upstairs too?
Yeah, the fencing, that was part of the.
Originally, you had to apply for that, but I didn't know if you were gonna proceed with that now.
Yep, now we've kind of all got it all leveled out and whatnot, and we're gonna start out with a fence, hopefully this week.
Okay, I just wanted clarification. I knew you applied originally and
Yeah.
nothing ever developed there yet, but I
Yeah.
see you're moving
Yeah,
that
yeah.
way.
Slowly.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
We had a motion, I believe, did we?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Hire lifeguards for the 2019 pool season.
I make a motion, we hire those lifeguards.
I'll second it.
We have a motion made and seconded to hire the lifeguards. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Reappoint Mike Langell to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Appoint Justine Horton to the Park Board. Have a motion?
So move.
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Caterers permit. Harvest Table, El Ranchito, and Wood Hat Spirits, My Fest, Volksplaats. May 18th and 19th, 2019.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Picnic liquor license, Herman Garden Club, fundraising event at the Rotunda, May 31st, 2019.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Picnic liquor license, Crusade Against Cancer, fundraising event at St. George, June 14, 2019.
Motion approved.
I'll second.
Motion, I got Jim here as a second.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is approved. Festival event application, MyFest Committee, MyFest Picnic in the Park, vendors, music, grand marshal, reception, and parade cars on display in Green Area, Upper City Park, May 19, 2019.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Festival event application, Herman J.C.'s, beer garden, music, food, and bounce houses, Upper City Park, May 17 and 18, 2019.
Motion. Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Special event application, Perseverance Foundation, Summer Jam and Poker Run with music, vendors, and demonstrations, amphitheater, June 22nd, 2019.
Move to approve.
Get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second down there, Susan. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Special event application, Laser Light Technologies, movie event fundraiser, amphitheater, July 20 and 21, 2019.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Special event application, St. Paul United Church of Christ, church picnic, band and bounce houses at the amphitheater, September 21, 2019.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. Festival event application, Herman J.C.'s, Oktoberfest Beer Garden, food and music, Sesquicentennial Park, October 4, 5, 12, 19, 26, and 27, 2019.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. There being no reports or boards and commission reporting, we conclude our regular business, and I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I move we adjourn open session and go into closed session for the purpose of hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting employees pursuant to state statutes.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, I need a vote starting on your end, Susan. Voice vote.
Aye.
Aye.
That carries the day, and we're in closed session. Do you need something